I'm going to give you a helpful tool that you can use in dysfunctional relationships. In healthy relationships, dialogue is open. People can talk about how they think, what they feel, what they believe, even when it's different from the other person. They can go back and forth and they can explain and they can argue and they can justify and they can defend their beliefs. The other person who is healthy seeks to understand, seeks to listen, and to get more information about the other person. They're open-minded. But in difficult relationships, people are not. They are not often not open-minded. They are often closed-minded. They often do not listen to understand. Instead, they listen to argue and to justify their own opinions and to only have what they want and believe to be the thing that you're talking about. So in our dysfunctional relationships, we often have to accept those things and make adjustments. Why? Because we want to take care of ourselves. We don't want to waste our emotional energy or our time trying to explain something and argue something and defend ourselves to a person who is not interested in hearing what you have to say and getting understanding about how you feel and how you think. So there are tools that we use in those dysfunctional relationships. And one of those is called Don't Jade. And it means don't do 4 things. Don't J, don't A, don't D, and don't E. What are those? First is don't justify. Proverbs 26:4 says, do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you will be like him yourself. Wow. That means if you try to justify what you think and believe with somebody who does not want to listen to you, that you are going to end up acting just as foolish as that person. So it means you don't justify. You don't try to prove with the things that you're saying that you are right and the person is wrong. It's only going to lead you to endless discussion that is going to waste your time. And in the end, the person has not listened to you and is not willing to consider your viewpoints. The next is don't argue, for the A. Proverbs 15:18 says, a hot-tempered person stirs up conflict, but one who is patient calms a quarrel. Now, a difficult person is going to argue with you, going to argue with you endlessly. Sometimes they argue just to argue because they like it. Sometimes they argue because they want to draw you in and get you frustrated to where you end up getting mad, and then they can point the finger at you. Sometimes they want you to argue because they're feeling like they're kind of in a bad mood and they want you to be in a bad mood with them. So you don't want to argue. You don't want to get drawn into that. And not arguing means that you don't participate. If that person is arguing with you and telling you why you're wrong and why they're right, and they're raising their voice and they're getting, kind of pumped up and they're, escalating it, you don't participate. You literally refuse to get into an argument. And they can't have an argument by themselves. So basically, you're going to keep it from getting out of hand, turning into a conflict that gets your energy and your time wasted and gets you upset when you walk away. Next one is D, and it stands for defend. Proverbs 15:1, you probably know, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. So when you defend, it means that you're getting kind of agitated, and defensive means that you've put up a shield and you're trying to protect yourself from being attacked. And one way that you do that is not only protecting yourself with the shield so you're not attacked, is you attack the other person. So it's kind of like you're going, I'm going to defend myself from you, and then I'm going to attack you because I expect you to attack me. And so it ends up getting into a conflict. and it ends up escalating. So you've got to not defend, which sounds really weird, because of course you have a right to defend yourself. When somebody's saying something or not listen or accusing you of something, you have a right to defend about how you feel and what you think and your opinions, or how you perceive that something happened or something that you're upset about. But it doesn't work with a difficult, dysfunctional person. It is going to go nowhere. So you've got to give up that defending. Don't defend. Don't protect yourself from attacks in terms of arguing. Maybe you have to walk away, and that's the way that you're going to protect yourself from an attack. But don't hold up or put yourself into a defensive position where you're defending. The next one, last one, is don't explain. And the E, Proverbs 12:23, the prudent keep their knowledge to themselves, but a fool's heart blurts out folly. You know, with difficult people, explaining your story, explaining all your reasons, explaining what happened, why you feel like you feel, it's going nowhere. And oftentimes when we do that, we give too much knowledge to the other person, and sometimes dysfunctional people will use it against us. Sometimes they will take the precious things of your heart that you explain, and they will trot all over them, and they will use them against you. They'll bring it up at a time when they want to hold something over your head, or they'll ridicule you. So you need to give up explaining. Why do you do this? Why do you don't justify, don't argue, don't defend, and don't explain? Because it doesn't work. If you're with a healthy person and you're trying to explain your viewpoint, you can justify it, and you can argue in a constructive way, and you can defend it, and you can explain it. But if you do that with a dysfunctional person, you are wasting your precious time and your precious energy. The best thing to do is to just leave it be, recognize that this person doesn't want to understand, doesn't want to get to know or get more insight into how you're feeling or what bothers you or what you believe, and maybe take that information and ponder that for a while. Think about it and recognize this is who you're dealing with. Now, sometimes these people are people that are going to be in our lives, like our parents or a sibling. And what we're going to do is we're going to learn to live beside them. And we're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to set boundaries. We're going to speak our truth, but we're not going to enter into this. We're not going to jade so that we get drawn into conflict that we would rather not have. But we can still do things to protect ourselves and take care of ourselves and set boundaries when we need to. Sometimes this will give you insight into somebody you're dating or a friend or even a marriage partner, and you might recognize, you know what, maybe I need to end this relationship. I need to end this friendship. This is not a healthy person who cares about me. Or I need to end this dating relationship. And in a marriage, maybe you need to get some help, set some boundaries, and see if you can get some change. So again, this helpful tip, don't jade, with a dysfunctional person, do not justify, do not argue, do not defend, and do not explain. So do you do those things? And are you willing to remember to not jade when you are in a conversation with a difficult person? Thank you for watching this video on Change My Relationship.